Hi, welcome to Coaching in a Cuppa, where we have conversations about coaching with other coaches. My name is Leslie Miserak with Get Courageous Coaching. We offer leadership, confidence, and retirement coaching. Thank you for joining us today. Let's take a listen. Today I'm on Coaching in a Cuppa with Alexis Jandro. She's with Alexis Adapts. And we're going to be talking about a particular type of coaching that I don't get to talk about very much. So I'm super excited about this conversation. So Alexis, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
No, I'm so glad you're here and could join me. So this is a redo because I have to tell everybody I have to own this mistake. I somehow corrupted the original recording. So Alexis was lovely enough to come back and have a do-over with me. So what's in your cup today?
This morning I've got some lovely green tea.
Excellent. I have got some lovely black tea in my mama bird cup just in honor of you. So cheers.
Cheers.
So Alexis, tell us a little bit about your coaching specialty, if you would, please.
So I am a parent coach. I found a need for myself that I needed to meet my son where he was at rather than making him meet me where I was at. And the more I researched and dug in and found a program that really resonated with me and what I thought would work with our family, I felt that others could benefit from it as well. So I jumped in with 2 feet and I haven't looked back since.
I love that. Can you tell me just a little bit about your coaching program?
So the program that I took my certification course with is the Jai Institute for Parenting, and they have a lovely 12 course initial program. So it really sets you up to understand yourself better, your attachment styles, how you handle your feelings, what triggers you might be getting, understanding the brain and developmental science. And then each week, depending on what that particular topic was, the parent picks an action plan that they want to focus on. And I help listen to what they want as the plan and what's going on in the home to make it a really solid go for the next week.
Excellent. So you went through this for yourself, and now you're using this model to coach your clients.
Yes.
I love that. I think that's absolutely fantastic. So you told me you went through this. What really inspired you to want to start working with parents in this way? I know there's a
So
backstory
yeah,
there.
yeah. I am a teacher,
Mm.
period, the end. So teaching is what I do. I've been teaching for 22 years with the public school and now privately. And I just, so I adopted my son and I knew I would be embracing a world that I was unfamiliar with. And I thought, I've worked with so many children with so many abilities, naive me, easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? And quickly learned that I did not understand the world of trauma, the way it affects the brain.
Mhm.
And I knew that what's really nice about this program that I found is that, yes, it works for children with trauma. It definitely works for neurodiverse children, but it really works for all children because it's not about the child. It's about the parent. We are the only ones we can control. Yeah, I mean, when they're little, we can manipulate them any way we want to, but is that really the relationship you want with your child? And it just opened up opportunities for me to think about myself differently and how I approach things. And it really resonated with me that others could benefit from this as well.
I love that. I think that's fantastic. And that completely resonates with me from a leadership perspective. Because I often tell my leaders that I work with that you are the only thing you can control. You think you can control all your employees, but you really don't have any control. You have control over yourself.
Right.
And I really love that from the parenting perspective. And something you said earlier was meeting your son where he is.
Mhm.
How special is that? That must make, whether he realizes what's happening or not, he probably won't till he's much further into adulthood. Uh,
Right.
that's really special. So
Thank you for
Thank you.
sharing that. Yeah, I love that. And origin stories are really cool. And the fact that you talked about being a teacher and thought, gosh, I have this, and then quickly realized that it's a different perspective. Um, so thank you very much for sharing that. Your website really talks about adaptive parenting. And when you think about adaptive parenting, what does that mean and how does it differ from maybe traditional parenting advice?
So when I think about adaptive, it's change, right? Life is always changing. Nothing is ever finite. For example, we're having a redo today. We had to because the first time didn't work. Um, that's just life. So we can be rigid and have an authoritative perspective of I am the grown up, you are the child, you will do as I say. Or we can have, in my opinion, the opportunity for a relationship where we ebb and flow with each other and learn from each other because even though they're little, they're still very much human beings and they have just as much value as my opinions do. Now, of course, my job is to keep them safe
Mhm.
and prepared for the grown up world, but it doesn't have to be so black and white.
I love that. So what do you find that parents are really seeking when they're coming to you for your coaching program? And I believe you said it's a 12-week coaching program, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think they're really seeking?
So I feel like most often parents are kind of at the end of their rope and they're looking for guidance on how to regain the connection that's lost in the home. They don't necessarily put it that way,
Mm-hmm.
but that's how I see it through my lens. And I think that's great because when it comes to parent coaching versus traditional therapy, and I fully support that as well,
Mm-hmm.
but it gives parents an opportunity to really walk through it with someone who's been through it and practical tips and things to help things move in the direction that they want it to move in.
Love that. And I love that you said regained the connection that was lost in the home and versus that control that's lost in the home. I
Yeah.
think that's a powerful statement. I've been watching Mad Men. I don't know if you've ever saw Mad Men on AMC, but I've been rewatching it this last couple of weeks. And one of the characters, Betty, is the mom, and she's all about kind of control and shame in the house. And it's just so interesting to be seeing this. And I love how you say regaining the connection. I mean, that's the complete opposite of what I'm seeing on Mad Men. And I'm loving the show because it's just such a well done show. But this parenting is so interesting. And I was watching a couple of episodes last night before I fell asleep, and I was really thinking about our conversation today and how that might play out. So thank you for saying that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Any success stories that you can share, obviously without names and kind of putting it in as generic a situation as possible. Anything you'd like to share?
Um, so yeah, I'm working with a couple, a husband and a wife right now, and that's been really interesting. They, of course, they're experiencing the same scenarios, but yet have their own perspectives on how it's playing out in the home. And one of them in particular is very reactive. So we've been talking about what they can do to slow themselves down a little bit to give their kid a chance to have that big feeling without taking it personally and kind of seeing where it goes and just reminding them that they're safe and they're loved and there for them through these big feelings. And I could see in this parent's eyes the a lightness that was not there the week before, that just having that reminder to, and funny not funny, they were injured the week before so they couldn't react as quickly.
Mm.
So they that helped a little bit to slow down. So now this week is to keep practicing it without being injured. But they were really able to have a calmer week when the big emotions of their children came out because they held their calm and didn't react.
Wow. And were they able to see a different or different reaction from their child?
Yeah. They noticed how quickly things moved along and didn't escalate, and it was a good week for them.
I love that. Oh, I wish them much more success as they continue on this parenting journey. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So if a parent is listening to this and they're feeling overwhelmed, stressed, or whatever, what's one small step that you might encourage them to take before they call you?
Okay. Really pretty much what we were just discussing, to pause
Mhm.
and take some deep breaths. Breath is our best friend. It helps energize our brain to get kind of settled and back on track. Um, and then maybe a small grounding exercise of something they can see, something they can touch, or like their favorite color. Mine is green. Finding 3 things around the room that are green, just to kind of get them out of that overwhelmed space so
Mhm.
they can refocus on what's really going on in the moment.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that very simple grounding exercise. I think about it kind of getting from that emotional piece of the brain into the cognitive piece of the brain to where you're actually in the thinking space. Because when you're fully in that emotion, you're not really thinking.
Exactly.
And so I love being able to kind of move to that space. Thank you. That's a great grounding exercise. I think we could probably all use that. Even when
Yes.
we're driving down the turnpike or I-4,
Yeah.
one of the highways, it's like, okay, let me pay attention to something else besides the person that just cut me off in traffic.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great exercise. So, in your site, you also mentioned that parenting is relational and not managerial. How does that shift the way you guide your clients?
So I often bring it back to their own work, whatever they do, and how do they want their boss to speak to them? What motivates them? And, I know I don't want a boss who yells at me. That would make me shut down.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly wouldn't want my boss to hit me. That would be,
Horrible.
huge line that was crossed. Um, so if they can, again, just picture their child not as something to mold immediately, but as a person who has similar thoughts and feelings and wants to be treated the way they want to be treated.
I love that. That's fantastic. The and being able to tie it to their work or their life experience is really huge because you can see it at that point.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. What do you wish people understood more about kind of the real work of parenting? And you know what? I think you can answer this from two different perspectives. You could answer it from your teacher mode, but also from your parental coaching mode.
Hmm. So, what I wish parents understood about parenting from it, just in general, is that it's hard and it's beautiful, and what we put into it is what we receive. So,
Oh,
if we are engaged with our children, showing them their value, reminding them of their goodness, they glow with that information. It just, children love to be seen. And in turn, I don't like to use the word should, but you could get that from them as well. You are setting the tone for your home. You are setting the tone for their lives. And possibly, and I might be overstepping, but possibly breaking some generational norms that are just so entwined with who we are as a people, as a culture. Just bringing more lightness to your world and theirs.
I love that. And that's, that's the one thing when we talk about control, we can only control ourselves. In my mind, and you can please tell me if you see it differently, but I do think that's the one thing that parents can control is how they break or interfere with those generational norms.
Yes.
Right, and the traumas that they might have experienced as a child, do not require them to then have to go through those same traumas. Right? They can break that. It might take work, might take coaching, it might take therapy, it might take work, but parenting is work.
Yes.
Right. It's I have a daughter who is well into adulthood, and it's been my favorite job.
Yeah.
Right. But it was work.
Yes.
But it was great work, and I'm lucky to work with her today, in coaching. So I feel very blessed in that. So Alexis, thank you so much for joining me today. Where can people learn about your work and how to get in touch with you?
Yeah, it was my pleasure. I really am. And I just redos, and tag that in real quick. We did a redo today. Redos are a great opportunity to teach your children what you want them to do rather than punishing them for doing something. So
we all need a redo sometimes.
Yes.
I love it.
So thank you for the redo. So go to alexisadapts.com. And then I'm also Alexis Adapts on Facebook and Instagram.
Great. Excellent. Well, I will make sure I have all of that included in all the notes on YouTube as well as on social. Alexis, thank you for allowing me to do a redo and giving me the grace. So cheers to you, my friend. And I wish you so much success, and hopefully you'll come back and visit us again one day.
Yes, that'd be lovely.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for joining us today for Coaching in a Cuppa. We hope you enjoyed this conversation. You can listen to other coaching conversations at getcourageous.com/cuppa. Have a great day.